Good morning, everybody. Drew Reynolds here, Director of Student Ministries at Cobb Prairie Community Church in Lenexa, Kansas. I hope you've all had a wonderful week. The weather has been so nice outside. I've gotten the opportunity to hang out with some of the students at the church. It's been really wonderful. If you want more information on those hangouts, we're having them next week again. They will come in the newsletter. They've come in our family ministry letter. I've sent emails about them. Check them out because we'd love to have you. I'd love to see you guys and love to hang out with you guys. There's 3 separate hangout times, so check those out. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So, as you know, we're talking about a series called Squad Up. We're talking about how when we come together as one, we are just better. We're better for everything. Week 1, we talked about how we can be part of God's family, how we can be part of God's squad and just be able to be part of that, which is so amazing. I don't know what else to say about it. It's just we're accepted because God wants us. Week 2, we talked about how we can do what God did for us for others. We have the opportunity to be a servant, to serve and just be there for everyone else and just, help others out in their times of need like God and Jesus did for us. Well, and this week, we're going to talk about how we can grow together. A quick question for you. Have you ever been on a team, any sort of team, could be a sports team, could be any other type of team. Can't think of or replace any other type of team right now other than the sports team. I don't know why I can't think of another. But that lost because your teamwork wasn't good, because your team wasn't working well. They didn't work together. I certainly have. And let me tell you, it's hard. It's never fun. Let's think about that, though. What are some qualities that make a good team? Now, what comes to my mind is things like honesty, teamwork. The kids know each other. We know each other. We work together well because we're more of a family than we are a team. Also, they're encouraging. They lift each other up. They don't just constantly beat each other down, and they do things together. They win together. They lose together. No matter what, they work together, but they play for one another. That's what I think of when I think of a good team. Now, the last few weeks, we've talked about how the first church kind of came into shape and how originally they weren't one team because it was the Jews and the Gentiles, and how they are slowly starting to work together and are realizing that the church itself is all one team together. We talked about how Paul has come and written letters in Ephesians to them, encouraging to be one and just, work together, I think is the best way to do it. We talked about how they're not always perfect, how they fight, they argue, they disagree. We talked about how they have good moments as well, where they come together to do good things for the church and for people around them. But here's the most important thing. When we come together, though, God can use us. He can work with us. He can help us grow. Now, sometimes, though, we need a reminder that we are part of a team. I'm not going to lie, sometimes I forget that it's more than just Cobb Prairie. But when we think of a team as a church, it's every church out there. It's every follower of Christ out there working together as one to do the mission God has set before us. And in Ephesians 4, 1 through 16, Paul reminds us of that. Paul comes and tells us that we need to be unified, that we are all one, that we're one team, that we need to be brought together. He reminds us that when we work together, we can be better and we can grow. Now, let's think about a team again. Every team has many parts. I mean many parts. For instance, think about a sports team. You have your owner, you have your general manager, you'll have your coach. Underneath your main coach, you have other coaches. You have your players. You have your bench players. You have your starters. You have those, if you think about baseball players, you have the teams in lower divisions that are waiting for their turn to come up, but they're working hard to make it good. It would be called a farm system, players that are underneath that are working their way up. But not only that, let's keep going. You have your fans. Fans are part of a team. You have everybody from the janitors who work at the stadium to clean it, to the concession stands people, to the bat boys who runs and grabs the ball on the wall and helps change the bats and get the players the proper gear and everything they need. You have medical staffs that help massage muscles out and help players who are injured. There's so many parts to different teams. I think a lot more than we think of. And I think it's the same way for the church. We have so many parts. We start at the pastor, then the director of family ministries, then the youth director, and then the children's ministry directors, and so on and so on. You have your volunteers, you have your people that come to church, you have your staff that cleans the church. Now, there's a lot of pieces that move. And for it to work out, we need everyone to work together. And if we don't work together, things start to fall apart. Just like sports, when you have a badly run organization, typically the team's not very good. It's the same one with the church. When you have a badly run church, it typically doesn't work out. But when you have a team that comes together, or a church that comes together, and works hard, and does everything together, and figures out a way to be one and unified, amazing things happen. And think about the Kansas City Chiefs last year. Great organization, great team. And they decided to play together as one and play for each other. And look at that, Super Bowl champions. Same with the church. When you have a staff that decides to do what they're doing because they care about everybody around them and they want to work for those around them, things work. Things get better. We grow together. We become stronger. We become smarter. We're a team that is unified. But that goes for everybody in the church. As I said, part of the team is the people who go as well. They're part of the church. They're part of our team. They're part of God's team. Just like the fans are part of baseball teams. They're sports teams in general. Because if you didn't have fans, probably wouldn't be playing. There'd be no one there to help pay the players with the money that comes in through income, or the employees, or anybody like that. And in the church, when people come to the church, it's not about the money. It's about the support that the people in the church give the people who work there. They encourage, they lift us up, they're there for us. They make us better because they're there to be with us. So as we know, we're called to work together so we can grow. And every time, it may not always be easy, but when we work together, it's worth it. So I hope you remember that when you work together with the team that you're with, you can grow. Just like God's team. When we all work together as one, we can grow. We can be in unity, and we can be one family. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. God bless.